And people are trying to create all these false narratives about me, try to make it seem like I'm lazy when I've been working since I was 18. I've been working since I was 18. When I was in school, school was my priority. I've been working since I was 18. I even went to college, but due to all of this, I had to drop out of college because of other people. They have been affecting my path, my destiny, my fate, my momentum. They have been stagnating me. It's like the game Mario Kart. They have been throwing those snails at me, those bananas at me. So I never crossed the finish line. People will create these narratives about me, but they fail to acknowledge the real root of it, and that has been that other people have been trying to stagnate me. The same people who are supposed to be here to help me have been placing roadblocks on my path. In every aspect, financially, psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. And they thought that they would get away with it because they thought I was alone. They thought nobody gonna hold me accountable. They thought I know a few people in high places so I can get away with this. They thought if I get in front of her truth, no one will believe her. If I make this person look crazy, nobody gonna believe her. If I distort her image, no one's gonna believe her. If I try to suppress her and oppress her, no one's gonna believe her. If I stagnate her, if I keep her in poverty, nobody's gonna believe her. She will be perceived as the problem. If I start beef with her, no one's gonna believe her. She's gonna be seen as the problem, even though I was provoking her. Even though it took her a while to react to my provocation, I'm still gonna paint her to be the problem. This is what's been going on. I was never the problem. There may have been times where I said some things where it may have offended some people. But I'm a grown person. And sometimes my actions are very justified because it is a reaction to disrespect. People have been trying to stagnate me. It started with my family. Then it started with childhood friends. Then it started with exes and stuff like that. And then it went from them to people in the workplace. Then random people in public. And then certain systems that were supposed to help me. At a certain point, I had entered a system that was supposed to help me. And they didn't help me. They neglected and sabotaged me the whole time. These people had the resources to help me, but they didn't. They made me do everything by myself. It got so bad I had to donate plasma for money at a certain point. I never sold myself. I was donating plasma for money. I was fasting, releasing money blockages, cleansing my spirit, cleansing my environment, because I understand everything is spiritual. And then I was facing racism in this city, heck of racism, from every angle. Because it's not, I don't think the problem is that I'm quote unquote black. I think the problem is I don't have a problem with being quote unquote black. The problem is I love myself. The problem is I know my history. Because certain black people, quote unquote, they don't have a problem with you. Because you allow them to treat you a certain type of way. But they will have a problem with me. because I don't fit their script. But yeah, also when I was donating plasma, I faced discrimination doing that too. Like, there was this one particular day I literally scheduled to donate plasma, and they literally moved the goalposts. I had the appointment, I had all of that set up. I had the email that confirmed the appointment. But when I got there, like, I used my last money to go there and donate plasma. That's how I was getting money. But my finances were heavy underneath attack at this point. Like, I was in a program that was supposed to be helping me, and I'm only able to speak vaguely on this subject. I can't share too much for legal purposes. But I was in a program that was supposed to help me. They had the resources to help me. I did my research on the program after I experienced certain things, but I realized that they had the resources to help me the whole time. But like, so I was down bad. Like, I literally had to donate plasma just to survive, you know, just to get around all of that. And one time I had scheduled an appointment at the plasma center, and mind you, I'm in a city that they're mistreating me because I'm black. You know, they're mistreating me because they want to disrespect me, and I won't allow them to. And they feel some type of way about my skin complexion, about my genetics, about who I am, about my spiritual beliefs too. When I ain't even did nothing to people, people had their judgment from day one, their misjudgment since day one. But, you know, whatever. But anyways, so I got the appointment right, and then I got there, I got there, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use my last money. When I get there, I'm going to get my little $100, and then I'll be good for the rest of the week. I was like budgeting my money, because I didn't have any help, so I had to create my own little method and system. And it was very challenging. This was a very challenging time. People were in my life, some of them, they were supposed to help me. And then people prior to that, the same people who put me in this position, it's just very unfair. These people was living their life. They didn't care about me struggling at all. These people was wearing a lot of these brands and materialistic things, enjoying all these materials while I was struggling due to them being upset that I wouldn't let them take advantage of me. That's how I ended up in this situation, because I stopped letting people take advantage of me. Because I stopped bleeding myself dry for everybody. And they got mad and chose to punish me. Because I exited that dysfunctional system. But going back to the donating plasma. So they made me mad that day. I went there, I had already confirmed my appointment, and then the lady tried to say, oh, we're not taking any more appointments. And then she tried to say, your appointment isn't showing up in our system. I specifically believe that they deleted my appointment in the system. When I first came here, I had met this guy probably like, I don't know, 2 weeks after I came here, and me and him started dating, right? And he was explaining to me some of the things that he experienced in the city, because he's a melanated person as well too. And I didn't really believe him, because I'm not someone who has ever really experienced racism like that. I mean, to that degree. You know, I never really experienced racism, in my opinion. I don't recall having a lot of racism in my life, in my childhood, etc. It wasn't until I moved to the city where I really began to start to see racism being shown, and, you know, etc. So yeah, so he was explaining to me, like, because I remember one time we was at this one car place, right? Something about how, like, she deleted something, and I didn't believe him. I'm like, she didn't do that. What are you talking about? And then it wasn't until I experienced this at this plasma center, they deleted my appointment just because they didn't want to give me the money, bro. That shit's sad. That shit still hurts to this day, bro. These people knew I was struggling. They did not want to help me. They wasn't even trying to hire me, bro. I was going so hard trying to look for a job out here, but just because I was black, they wasn't hiring me. I had to go to a temp agency just to get a job. And then these people have the audacity to stick their nose up at me as if they not the ones that put me in this position, bro. But you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I still got my soul and I still got my joy. Ain't nobody ever gonna take that away from me. And I still got my mind. Because I refuse to settle. Because I want higher things in life. So I was dealing with racism a lot behind the scenes. Racism and discrimination that affected every aspect of my life. They wouldn't even hire me. They wouldn't hire me. They teamed up to try to get me fired from jobs. Some of the businesses I was working for in the past, those environments, they were making it hell. To the point where I was forced to quit. I was forced to leave. When all I wanted to do was work and go home. And then I experienced discrimination to the point, at one point, they caused me to lose my job. It was bad. They caused me to lose my job because they presented an opportunity to me as if they were here to help me. And they used the opportunity to abuse me, to suppress me, to oppress me, and neglected me. I did everything by myself. I had to do everything on my own. I had to navigate everything on my own. Resources that they had available to them the whole time, they stripped me of the knowledge of them. They didn't even tell me about them. And I asked multiple times. So if you ever see me spazzing, it's valid and it's justified. I got tired of suppressing the pain. I got tired of being disrespected and being told to just suck it up and be quiet. No, I won't. You don't get to treat me like that. You don't get to treat people like that. You should work on being a good human being. I know some of your parents may have never taught you that because they weren't good human beings. But in this lifetime, it's your duty to do the work. So yeah, I would have been where I was supposed to be. But everything happens for a reason. And I learned my lessons. And it built me. But it was painful. I cried most of the time being associated with some of these people and organizations because they treated me very unfairly. And all they did was stagnate me. And sabotage me. I've always been independent. I've always been a go-getter. When I was younger, I was very business-minded. I was in school. I did gig work. Still do gig work. I've always been goal-oriented. I don't like drama. I used to party when I was younger. Not too much though, because I had a strict parent. But I was allowed to party just enough. And parties can be dangerous too. So I don't even need to be in the mix. But once I started wanting other things in life, I stopped partying. And I don't mind partying, but it has to be with the right people. No drama. I really focused on my money. And I just wanted to share my testimony online. Because when I went through certain things and I was sharing it with people who were supposed to be there to protect me, to get me out of certain situations, to hold certain people accountable, they didn't listen to me. They didn't care. So I have to keep telling my story.